Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and CoffeeStream episode 445. We are creeping closer to 500. Holy crap. Anyway, today is Wednesdays with Skep. Hello, Skep. How are
Hi,
you?
hi everybody. It's nice to be here with you, Blind Press. I'm doing well, and who knew that you would be nearly 500 streams into this and be talking about the things that we get to talk about.
Oh boy. So,
We've got some good stuff
we're,
today, folks.
yes, we're gonna jump right in. And Gunfox, this is gonna make you happy. I found a video that was posted in my News for the Coffee Stream channel. Gunfox posted a video from Infowars, which I tend to take things from them with a grain of salt because they deliver their information in such a hyperbolic way, and they really do kind of suck at sourcing their stuff. They just kind of say shit and they don't like back it up with actual citations. They just like put a thesis out there and that's it. But this video really caught my interest because it was about Canada. And I'm not going to play it because we all know how YouTube feels about Infowars, and I don't want to lose my channel. But basically, the video says that first of all, China is preparing for war. And second of all, that places like Canada are starting to implement the Chinese social credit system. Now, there's a lot of stuff going wrong in Canada right now. And we already know that Trudeau is very, very soft on issues regarding this, our relationship with China. But there's really like it. They said in the video that this information was posted. Justin Trudeau himself posted it on a government website. They didn't name the government website. They just said a government website has a post from Justin Trudeau that says, we are implementing the social credit system. Now, what's really going on here is China has implemented a very extensive social credit system, which includes data gathering, right?
Yeah, it has two principal parts to it.
Yeah, it's
It, it
got. Sorry,
the,
Scab, you go
well,
ahead.
it's got the private part and it's got the corporate part.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what's going on is that China is trying and succeeding in implementing this corporate social credit system to do with companies that are either based in China that have like subsidiaries outside of China, or companies that do business in China. It is not the Canadian government going, yeah, we love the social credit system, we're going to implement one here, which is what Infowars made it sound like, which
No,
is
and that's
not
misleading.
helpful. It is
No,
not helpful
exactly.
to fearmonger and like that.
Or
And
defraud, which is really what they're doing.
yeah, and
That's a lie.
there
What
is
they
a
say.
very real discussion that can be had about the effects of the corporate social credit system on companies outside of China. And that's a very real discussion that should be had. But to like lie like that just completely muddies the water.
And the waters are complicated enough as it is. China implemented this social credit system, and they set as a target deadline of 2020 to have all of their citizens enrolled in the national database.
Yeah.
And all these people would be rated with what they called a social score. It's based on different behaviors. The social scores are used to punish or reward individuals based on their behavior. So if you
Yeah.
praise the Chinese Communist Party publicly on social media, you'll be given bonus points. If you could lead to things like priority for school admissions or free gym services or shorter wait times at the hospital and other benefits. If you
Yep.
protest against the CCP, or you're late with something like your utility bill or your rent, or if you knowingly associate with another individual who has a low score, their low score can rub off on you. You
Yes.
find yourself restricted in accessing public services, excluded from taking transportation. I mean, you literally will not be able to go through a turnstile when you present your card. It won't turn, and a policeman will come over and say, "No, you walk to work. You don't get to take the train."
Yeah.
Or maybe your children will be denied entry into the best schools and will have to go to a lower
Public.
quality school.
Yeah.
So and they do the same thing with businesses in China, and they call that one the corporate social credit system. Okay, so the one we've been describing is the personal social credit system.
Yeah.
This is the corporate, and it's designed to create a single standardized reputation system, essentially, for both local and foreign firms doing business in China. And so it looks at every aspect of every company's business operations in China, and they assess company performance. They make sure they pay their taxes, that they give that they uphold the standards of service that they advertise, and that they market responsibly. Okay, so based on the rating, Chinese authorities will reward or punish the businesses in the same way that they reward or punish the individuals, and they can and the penalties for the companies can result in penalty fees. They can get higher inspection rates, which is a weird kind of thing, isn't it? That's really creepy, and possibly even getting kicked out of the country. Okay, so companies receiving a high corporate credit score, on the other hand, they actually get their taxes cut. I kid you not. And they also can have better market access, waiving uh, 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 yeah, corporate fees and
Oh wow.
bribes and backsheesh that they have to do that they have to pay just to do business in China, and they can be placed on what they call as a red list, which means a preferred company. You really want that if you're inside China.
Yeah.
Now, that's inside China. What I think is interesting is expanding into like a restaurant in Vancouver.
Yeah. That's and
This
there's
is interesting because it's not really it's not Canada's government implementing this, right?
no, no. It's and this is so and this is where the very real and important discussion needs to happen,
Yeah.
because really no government should have the right, even if it's a franchised restaurant with a corporation based in that country, the government of that base country should not have the legal right to come to a different country where a franchise is and be like, okay, we're gonna put cameras here. Like that's
But they've done that.
But they've done that, and so when Infowars says that there was a post on on a government website about this, I did a quick Google search, and I found two posts on two government websites. And do you want to know what they were about?
What?
They were definitely not pro social credit system. They were about how to protect yourself as a business, and like informing people, what the social credit system is about, and here's what to do, like as a business in a different country, here's what to do, like to try to protect yourself and prepare yourself for what they're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Not let's go China, come on in. Like it was not that at all.
What the place where this gets a little bit creepy and weird, as far as I'm concerned, is imagine that you're doing business in Vancouver, okay, and you go to this company, this restaurant, I mean, with in the company of someone who is on a blacklist in China,
Yeah.
and so the cameras see you eating with this person who's considered a bad person by the social credit system.
Yeah.
So you get this negative social credit score, even though you're a Canadian citizen. Then you go out and about and you're trying to do business with another part of the Chinese government. Maybe you head to the Chinese embassy and you want to sell them some transportation or something like that. They say, oh, we can't give you our normal rate because when you came into the embassy, we did a facial recognition on you, and your social credit score with our system in China is too low. That's where it could affect you directly.
Yeah, and this is why, like, I got so pissed off with Infowars, because their lie
Mm-hmm.
is distracting from the actual conversation that really, really needs to be had. Like,
Because how many people are going to blow that off just because they looked at Infowars? Oh,
Yeah.
that's Infowars. That's bullshit. And I'm like, it is bullshit. You know.
Yeah. Real quick, let's say hi to the chat, because there's people been trickling in. Hello to Pinkalo and Seamus. And, oh, Sky is here. Sky is somebody who watches my MK11 streams on Twitch.
Nice.
So welcome,
hi, Sky.
Sky.
Ghost Dog's here.
Hi, Ghost Dog. Sky, I wish my Spanish was good enough to translate. She's from South America or Latin America, and her English isn't as good enough to follow us. What we're taught. She's kind of like, can somebody who knows Spanish tell me what they're saying? I wish my Spanish was better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the Donde Esta El Cerveza.
My Spanish is better than that, but not good enough to translate what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
Welcome also.
Seamus is here.
Fox, yep. Welcome to Seamus. Oh, Pinkalo says, funny, you should tell that to Sunshine, because I'm sick of that shit in my. Oh God. So we have a friend, in real life, who does nothing but sit in his house and watch the, like, you know the crazy people that make the 2-hour-long documentaries on YouTube that
Yes.
actually say, like, nothing factual, and they have, like, the really scary music and all that. Yeah, all he does is watch that shit, and the financial, like, of the financial news people.
And drink energy drinks.
No, he doesn't drink energy drinks, thank God. But he drinks a lot of coffee.
Okay.
But
it's an energy drink.
yeah, it is technically, yeah. And all he does is pay attention to these YouTube documentaries and the crazy, like, the financial guys who put their noses into everything else that's not finance. And make, like, crazy, claims and prediction, and then he tells Pinkalo and I, about all this horrible stuff that's going to happen,
Yes.
and we're like, okay, yeah, we're YouTubers, we actually do a lot more digging into this, and he's like, no, you're not listening, and we're like, oh my God. And then Pinkalo will ask him, he'll say something, and he'll be like, okay, what's your source for that? And he'll be like, just Google it. And he'll be like, no, I want you to tell me where you found this information that you are trying to tell me.
Yeah.
And he gets very upset with with Pinkalo. It's
If you're pulling your stuff off of 8chan, you know, or 4chan or any of these nutbag, there's parts of Reddit that are just insane now. Uh, you can Google anything and find out anything. It's all printed on the internet, all of it.
Bob Elvis says, I have a lot of respect for Alex Jones. I learned a lot from him. See, the thing with Alex Jones is he's right a lot of the time. It's his delivery. It's his.
Well, also 10% of what he says is complete bullshit.
Yeah. When he's right, but delivers it badly. And when he's wrong, he's batshit crazy. And delivers it badly.
The problem is that it's like eating a bowl of delicious apple crisp with rabbit turds in it instead of raisins.
That is the best description I've ever heard.
It just spoils awesome. It, yeah, because there's good stuff in there, but So
yeah, like you get the stuff where because he was right about the frogs and stuff like that, but then he says shit like about Sandy Hook, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
dude. Thank God he apologized for that, but still, it was like
too little, too
late, my dude.
Yeah,
they're like, no.
Yeah, he had actually bought the farm with me prior to that, but I just looked at that and I said, that's confirmation that this guy is not worth listening to. It's too bad because people use that to make arguments against the actual valid points that he does make. So it's so hard to get a coherent picture of what is really going on out there with all the cross currents and the willful spreading of nonsense by both sides. Mm-hmm. The left and the right both do this. The conservatives and the progressives both do it. Libertarians do it. Everybody does it in service of the narrative. It's the narrative uber alles. And until people will calm down and say, hey, let's actually have a discussion about this and find out where our actual differences are, we're going to continue to club each other over the head and get nowhere.
Well, and the other problem is that people have stopped realizing that it's okay to have differences. Like, you can still work through that. Like, now, this is, like I was saying last night, this is the weirdest coalition of mental illnesses I've ever seen. Because it's like, it's good to be as different as you possibly can to the point of making yourself sound like a crazy person. Yes. But also, different is bad. Fuck you for thinking differently than me.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, you can't have both.
Yeah. Consistency. Sorry, we don't do that here. Yeah. And both sides. I don't get it. No side is consistent 100% of the time. It's just when you do find somebody who speaks ethically and consistently, you really value them. And that was one of the things that really made me sad about Elder losing not becoming the next governor of California yesterday.
So how bad was that loss?
He got shellacked. Everybody, you have twice as many Democrats as Republicans, more than twice as many Democrats as Republicans, and most of the independents lean left in California. Okay. So you knew there wasn't much of a chance for this. Gavin Newsom raised $75 million. He raised 5 times as much money as Larry Elder did for his race for governor.
That amount of money, you could do a federal campaign.
Well, the thing is, he's going to get to keep 30 or 40 million of that wonderful. He didn't spend, and he will be able to use that on his campaigns of other people who think like he does, that it's time to parcel of the United States and give it to people who want to make the United States into United States a stand.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's absolutely horrifying to see a state like California in under the governance of someone as irresponsible as Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Piccolo says it's Dunning-Kruger mixed with Mandela mixed with Munchausen. Yeah.
God, nicely done, Pig Cowl.
You hit
not
it
wrong.
right on the head there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I especially like the Dunning-Kruger mixed with Munchausen, or even Munchausen by proxy. In the case of some of these insane California people, you know, one of the things that happened was the California Secretary of State was appointed to be the new senator. There's a vacancy by Gavin Newsom, and now there's a vacancy as Secretary of State, and the lady who was appointed to be Secretary of State is like a African American Studies professor at in the University of California system. She has a communications PhD, quote unquote, from UCLA. They just keep cranking more worthless people into government, and then they're amazed that the state has all these problems and has to borrow money to throw it at the problems, and there's never enough money because there's an infinite demand for money. And what's going to end up happening is, as I said last night, we're going to damage the currency. So that's a sad, sick situation.
Call me crazy, but wouldn't you at least want somebody with, some sort of political science degree in, I don't know, a political position?
Yeah, or somebody who knows the law or something like that.
Saying.
It's somebody who can use decent grammar. This lady cannot even speak successful English.
Good Lord.
Now, we're not allowed to say that because we're supposed to say that she speaks an alternative type of English.
Dude,
I'm not even allowed to say what that kind of English is.
There are white people that speak like garbage.
Oh,
I don't care what color your skin is.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with skin color.
The language you were born to speaking.
What they say is it's just a new language, and it's a better language. So it's a language without adverbs. There are no. I did it easy, not I did it easily. Okay, it's I did it easy. He did real good. He didn't do well.
My best friend's mom used to say, "I seen."
Yeah, I seen
that.
And that's considered good English now.
Or use. She would say "you" like as in YOUS. Use.
Yeah.
It's like there's no S at the end of the word.
Yeah, that's kind of a New York affectation. Yeah.
Oh God.
It's interesting, but at any rate, I'm just reading this post from Geodes. The Disaffected podcast has been going into the mental health issues that are being actively supported by groups like the Progressives and trying to point out what to watch out for.
Interesting. Disaffected podcast.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them. Do you know who they are?
I do not. I'll have to look them up after the stream is over.
But at any rate, Seamus says the problem I have is that everybody is thinking that we are in 1984, whereas I see us in the combination of A Brave New World and the lead up to the Hunger Games. Okay, I'm not sure that all those things can't be true at one time.
Yeah, I think it's all three, really.
Hunger Games could be entertainment in a 1984 world.
With a sprinkling of Fahrenheit 451 on top.
Absolutely, burning the books and Soma for everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Hug me till you drug me, to quote from Brave New World, one of my favorite lines from it. So, yeah. It's we live in interesting times. So What the hell is going on with Canadian politics today?
So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days till actual voting day. That's on Monday.
Till the sham that is this election occurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and there's been an interesting an interesting article. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I'm gonna quickly pull it up because something that I never thought would happen is being theorized here in this article that Pincalo sent me. A coalition between the NDP and the Conservatives.
Hmm.
I don't even know how the hell that would work. Cause
Um.
like they're so antithetical to each other. I just don't I really don't know how that would work. But let's it's but it's bad. Like Canadian politics right now is never like it's
A majority government could be out of reach for
I
both the
think it
liberal
is.
and the conservatives, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
I'm
And
pretty sure that it is out of reach for whoever wins.
okay, so there's going to be what you call a minority government, right?
Correct.
And so Parliament has 338 seats. So in order to win a majority government, a party has to elect basically 170 or more
Yes.
MPs. That secures their ability to pass key measures of, votes of confidence and all that kind of stuff, budgets, that kind of stuff, without needing another party's support.
Yeah.
And they're all set up. The problem is that ain't going to happen. And so in 2021, I'm just reading some numbers that I looked up here. Liberals held 155 seats. The Conservatives had 119. The NDP has 24. Bloc
Yeah.
Québécois has 32, and Green has 2. Hanging in there, Green. So there are also 5 independents, and so you could have either. There's like a difference between a minority government and a coalition government, right?
Pardon?
There's a difference between a minority government and a coalition government.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Minority government is when the party with the most seats, it's a plurality, but it's not a majority, tries to govern and maintain the confidence of the House by relying on cross-party agreements or vote-by-vote support to get the votes needed on key issues and bills in order to be able to advance policy. That's minority government. Okay. When a coalition government is more when parties join the forces to hold a larger share of seats, more than any other party. And so they can have formally agreements where the cabinet includes members from both, right?
Yeah.
Or all parties, depending on how many of them team up. And that has not happened in a very long time, but it could happen this time on account of NDP. That's what they're basically saying, is that there could be a coalition government with the Conservatives.
Well, I'm trying to find because this was asking a. So this is he spoke to some undecided voters, the NDP leader,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jagmeet.
Jagmeet Singh.
I really do not like him.
It's funny. He speaks so highly of you.
He is so slimy. And I swear to God, he thinks he's Robin Hood. I really do.
Yeah.
I really think he thinks that he's like the political Robin Hood.
No, you're not wrong.
Even though his net worth is like $3 million.
Yeah.
But
I like the fact
as long as you're going after the billionaires,
right. It doesn't matter. I like the fact that the Green Party leader name is Anime. I know it's enemy, but
she's ridiculous. Like,
oh, she's a nutter.
Everything that she said in the debate last week she brought it back to, like, she kept playing the victim card. She kept, oh, I'm the first woman of color to stand on this stage, and I'm like, I don't care what your genitals and skin color are. Are you a good leader? No, you're not. But
then you have the Bloc Québécois who says, I'm not going to do anything with anybody. He's not going to, Yves Francois Blanchet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he came right out in the debate last week and was like, my party's not interested in leading Canada.
Yeah.
We're just interested in what we can get for Quebec. And it's
right.
like, then why the fuck are you here?
Yeah.
Just then get off the stage. And to not even allow the People's Party into any of the debates, but have them on the ballot, like, that's not... I don't think that's right. Like them or not, like,
yeah.
it shouldn't be because of what, like, their platform is, that you ban them from the debate. Like, there should be, if they're on the ballot, then put them on the stage. Pincalo says CBC also had 4 undecided voters ask Trudeau some questions. The video is up. I've got to find it. Okay. That would be cool. But, I'm not sure how CBC would, I don't think they like people playing their videos, so I'll just get the article. So these voters asked, Jagmeet Singh some questions, and he said he's not ruling out working with a government, a minority government led by Erin O'Toole, which would be very strange. I can't see them working well together.
Jagmeet Singh and Erin O'Toole?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I could see him working with Trudeau better than like, because and this is changing from his 2019 position, where he was like, no, I would never work with a conservative government. So apparently he was asked directly if he would make the same commitment as he did last time. He refused, and of course he sidestepped the questions, which he's been doing, but like, he's been dodging questions better than Trudeau, and Trudeau is the frickin' artful dodger. But like, Jagmeet Singh, when I was looking at the video, where he was doing the press conference after releasing the costing of his platform, they would ask him their questions, and he would literally answer the question by repeating their question back to them in the form of a statement, and then move on.
Man,
it was like,
you guys have as much problem getting decent people in government as we do.
Oh, it was crazy. Like, there was one polite person who was like, if you always say voters should be informed, why did you not release the costing of your platform when you released the platform? Why did you wait till, so close to voting day? Don't you think that that's keeping like the details from the voters?
There's some information we don't want the voters to have.
And he was like, oh yes, it's a very detailed plan, and there are so many details, and these are new details, but this doesn't change our platform. It's just new details.
Of course.
That's all he said.
Of course.
It was like, I was like, I really know it will never happen because journalists just don't have this much balls, but I would love for a journalist to go, sir, you just repeated my question back to me. Could you answer it? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, the problem is the journalist finds himself banned.
Yep.
And they have an interest to protect. I don't know. So anyway, I think we've concluded that uh, Canadian politics is pretty depressing right now.
Yeah.
What do
It
you? But just going back up to 50,000 feet, what do you think is the most likely alliance? Do you see the Liberals forming a government with NDP? Do you think the NDP will finally say, oh, "Okay, we'll back the Liberals," and they'll form a minority government or not?
if Jagmeet Singh is actually telling the truth about being willing to work with a conservative government, which I don't.
That sounds like a stalking horse to me. That sounds like something he's just saying to get a
Yeah,
rise out of the.
I have a feeling that if the conservatives were to were to get a minority but require a coalition government,
Mhm.
I have a feeling that Jagmeet would be like, I never said that. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
don't buy it.
yeah.
Um,
Or that's not what I meant. That's
yeah, that's
actually
not
what
what
he
I
would
meant.
say.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. That you misinterpreted what I said.
Yeah, you misinterpreted the meaning of the word is.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, I would honestly, um, depending on how many seats the PPC wins, I could see maybe a coalition government between the cons and the PPC.
Mm.
Um, that might actually work because
How many seats do they have?
they don't have very many. I think
Th-
they have
like
like
six?
3 or 6
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something
It's
like
it's
that.
like ridiculously small.
But they have their polling numbers have like for where they are
Hmm.
have skyrocketed.
So
Um,
they're trending up.
they're
They could become a force.
they could the now a coalition government between PP or with PPC and conservatives could actually be balanced enough
Hmm.
to get stuff done because we would have the passionate none of this bullshit is working, let's fucking tear it all down and fix it from the PPC.
Would help
And
if
then you would
PPC
have
had a better name.
it would. And
It,
then you would have the balancing, like moderating effect of
yeah,
the progressive conservative going,
yeah.
okay, that's not logically going to work. Let's figure out a way to compromise and get things changed, but not like burn the whole thing down, shall we?
Yeah.
Because that's unfortunately the PPC right now is like, fuck it, it's
Burn it
bad,
down.
the
Yeah.
whole system's bad, let's just burn it down and start again.
Okay.
And that's not going to help
Well,
anything.
it's a non-starter.
Yeah. So if we had a coalition between those two parties, ministers from both parties in a cabinet could actually get some positive change for Canada with just enough, you know, let's get us at least back to the center of
Mm.
things.
Does
Is
PPC have candidates everywhere?
um yeah, they've got candidates pretty well. There's one in our riding, I know that for sure. I know Viva Fry is running for the PPC in his riding. Um yeah, I know that they do have
So they could
um
become a force. I mean, if they did elect some people,
yeah.
that would be interesting to see what happened if the NDP starts to feel some pressure from another big third party.
Now, what would be interesting is if the Liberals won a minority government and the Conservatives and the PPC worked together in the House of Commons over the next year and a half to 2 years to overthrow and then work to try to fix things.
Yeah, we can sit here and speculate, but in point of fact, somebody's got to step up and be the strong candidate that Justin Trudeau seems being capable of being.
I have a feeling that if the Conservatives lose, that Aaron O'Toole is going to be asked to step down.
Probably should be.
Which I wouldn't mind because I find him he's he's okay in the House of Commons when he's like in question period.
Yeah,
He has the capacity to ask some good questions and to like not let people give him non-answers. But the problem is that he can't keep that strength going when he gets in front of a camera or when he gets like he's just not a diplomat. He's just not that kind of like he's not the rounded guy you
yeah.
need. What I and I keep beating this drum and I would love it if in the next leadership for the Conservative Party somebody nominates Pierre Polyev.
Oh yeah,
He would be a great leader for the for the Progressive Conservative
Polyev
Party.
makes sense to me. I mean, he at least is sensible. He presents his
He's
positions
sensible and
sensibly.
he's sensible, but he's got that wry wit where he could be like, "Wait, did you really just say that to me?"
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and when he says, "Did you really just say that to me?" he is also going, "Let me pull out the receipts I have to
right,
refute to you why you really shouldn't have just said that to me, you moron."
right.
Like
Yeah.
that's the thing about Polyev is he actually brings receipts
Well, yeah.
when he says, "Oh really?"
He seems like a very thoughtful guy.
Yeah, I like when he gets when he gets going in Parliament.
So there is that.
PDC has 300 candidates, says Costin.
You know, the the interesting thing is going to be, I think, in a year or so, when we have the midterms here in the United States.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting.
In the places where uh, free and fair elections are still possible, and unfortunately, that's not everywhere in the United States anymore. But there are some places where it's possible to have a free and fair election where the uh, results that are reported accurately reflect the will of the voters.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's going to be some pushback against the progressives, and there's going to be a further distancing of the red states from the blue states.
I would not be surprised, honestly, Skep, if the United States became two countries in the next 50 years.
That's a hard thing to speculate about because there are so many things that the central government can do to force the country together, to force the country to stay together. But I know what you're saying, and those pressures are there. We really have become two
Like
countries.
there was division and animosity before the Civil War, but this is this is way more amplified because well first of all there was no social media in 1865
You know, they
and
had the
before that
newspapers, and that was
they
about
had
it,
the newspapers and yeah like
and the pamphleteers
and
that
the
people don't even know about anymore.
yeah there yes there was division but it was definitely not on the mass scale that it is today.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
yeah.
like and it's over like there's division like the division was over you know a a few cogent things back in the
Well,
Civil War
it
you
was
could
also only talked about by the what amounted to the aristocracy,
Yeah.
the upper class.
Yeah.
Now it's being talked about by everybody.
Yes. And everybody is finding something to divide over, like every. Oh, you hang your toilet paper this way? Well, fuck you,
Yeah,
asshole.
yeah, that's not progressive.
You know, oh well, you only put out your garbage, or you put out your garbage every week instead of once every 2 weeks. Oh, you're a polluting garbage piece, like
That's
it's
right.
just to the fucking max,
Yeah,
like with everything, and
it,
it's just so unnecessary. Like,
and that's worse in some places than others, but
mm-hmm,
it definitely does exist. Places like Texas, man, there is a real divide, and you can go into Austin, Texas,
mm,
is one of the places, and it literally the character of the neighborhood changes street by street
I would
uh,
believe that.
between conservative and progressive, or what amounts to communist, really in
Yeah,
Austin. They are crazily and uh, actively, angrily progressive down there.
right.
They they hate the conservative, the old style. They hate everything about Texas.
Well, and that's the other thing about the progressive is that they refuse to believe that the conservative is changing.
Yeah,
They refuse to believe that today's conservative is much more progressive than their picture of a conservative.
right.
Like, because if you look at every progressive person's talking point about conservatives, they would be right about conservatives, oh, maybe 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah,
Maybe even
1940s.
20 years ago.
Mm,
But now,
yeah,
like if you talk to most, I know that there are still some religious fundamentalists out there,
one
but
or
if you
two.
speak to most conservatives that are, in the modern day, they're going to be like, I don't care if you smoke pot in your house, I don't care if you are gay, I don't care if you, like, does it affect me? No. Like, d-
Marry
most
who
con-
you want to
yeah,
marry. You
most
know.
conservatives only care about the things like, you know, are you going to enact policies that bankrupt the small businesses in my community? Are
Yep.
you going to, um, tax the crap out of everybody to, inflate a social program and not provide checks and balances to make sure that those who don't need it aren't defrauding it? Like, that's what conservatives care about. And that's okay. That doesn't make them horrible people who want other people to die. But the progressive people are like so hateful of anybody that doesn't think, like, even people who consider themselves center.
Hmm. Hmm.
Progressives are like, no, you guys are awful. You guys are closet conservatives.
Yeah, if you're not as pure as I am, you're evil. You can have, out of 100 policy positions, you can have 99 that are identical with uh, a progressive's ideal world,
Yep.
and you disagree on that one, you are evil. You're an evil racist. Or they want to be victims so badly that they make their victimhood definitional. So simply by being a white person, you are a racist.
Yep.
You have racism in you magically. Okay, and they're never pressed to define where that magic racism comes from, or why it's never expressed by these supposed racists, why they don't do racist things. They're secretly racist. They
Yeah.
secretly deprive other races of opportunities just because white.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's frustration on their part. And it's understandable. They look at financial and cultural privilege and see, oh, it skews, over to white people. It must be the whiteness. That's an appealing, intuitive uh, conclusion, but it doesn't have anything to do with why that really happens, with what really goes into uh, cultural
Yeah.
and financial privilege, which is real.
Mm-hmm.
That is real. Not everybody gets the same start. Not everybody has the same opportunity. And part of it is based on where you come from. It just doesn't happen to have anything to do with white skin anymore. It used to, now it doesn't. And it's going to take a long time for these people who are not good at reasoning to begin with, frankly, to come to that conclusion. It may even take a generation or two, and we'll move through it. What concerns me more is the uh, encroachment of fundamentalist Islam.
Yeah.
Those howling barbarians are serious about taking us back to the 10th century, and that's not a good look.
To hell with organized religion. All of it.
I'm kind of there.
Islam, Christianity, all of it. Just
I'm down.
fuck it. Fuck it all. Get rid of it. If you want to worship, personally, whatever, fine. But, fuck organized religion.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, keep the commandments, get rid of the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I come down on it.
Yeah. If you say a nice quiet prayer to your God before you go to sleep, whatever, right? But
nothing wrong with that.
This whole, the church is a super rich fucking, basically safe from taxation.
The fundamentalist churches are just obscene. Ugh. They're obscene money pots, and the South is just a nightmare full of these places, and yet that's where a lot of people who have conservative points of view, they're deeply devoted to these things. And if you ever come out and say, well, I'm not crazy about that, they're just as bad as the progressives.
They're just as reactionary.
It just where are all the reasonable people like you and me, Blind Press?
They all went fuck this and got really high.
Sure, chat's having fun with that remark, but anyway, yeah.
Man, so I've got some exciting news.
Did you see what Seamus just posted? He said 45 members of the House in New Hampshire, the legislature in New Hampshire, have introduced an article of secession in the last week.
Damn.
Anyway, so you might be right, Blind Press. I'm sorry, I just wanted to reaffirm your point there.
I've got some exciting news.
What's up?
So tomorrow morning, the person from the Assistive Devices Program, which is, again, a provincial thing here in Ontario, that helps disabled people, cover the cost of devices that, help them with independence and everything. And so I am being shown a new computer. It's the brand new Mac Mini that came out last at the beginning of this year, the 2021 one. So, and we're gonna request for 16 gigs of RAM, so I'll have plenty of resource power to run OBS and stuff like that, and present you guys with a more visually stimulating stream. And I'm also going to be looking at a braille display, which I'll be able to Bluetooth to either the computer or my phone.
That will be awesome.
So that's going to be happening.
Why don't you just explain what a braille display is?
So a braille display is a really cool device that it has these, it's like a bar at the bottom of it. It's like a rectangular device, and at the bottom there's this bar of braille cells that refresh. So every time the words change, the braille cells just kind of move up and in and out of the device and change into whatever is on the screen. They started this technology in note taker devices, braille note taker devices, back in the 2000s, where instead of using a big metal braille typewriter that you had to push keys in to physically punch holes in the paper, it turned into you would type on this 6-key keyboard on an electrical device, and braille would refresh at the bottom as you typed. So they've taken that technology and put it into a display that whenever you scroll through a web page or like your messages or anything, it basically reads, like, you can feel in braille what's on your screen.
So this is pretty awesome technology, really. It's kind of it's like an analog display, basically, uh,
Yeah.
and it will punch up the letters that form the words,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to run your fingers across them. Um, you're when I first got to know Blind Press, she took the time, and I still appreciate that so much, to kind of introduce me to the world of Braille, and I got to where I could, read elevator floors and detect all the misspellings.
Mm-hmm.
Half the shit in Braille is misspelled, or
Yeah, because the people that put it up are sighted, and they don't, like, there's a job you could hire a blind person for:
oh yeah, to make
editing
the
and making
signage.
sure the signage is correct.
Yes.
Nobody thinks of that. No,
Yeah.
it's all the sighted people that are like, I think that's right, and I
Yeah.
also think it's the right way up.
Yeah, well,
Hello.
yeah, that's the other thing is the labels. I shit you not, they're upside down, and I remember going back to you saying, "What is this? What does this mean?" And you said, "Huh, it shouldn't be like that." Oh, it's upside down,
Yeah.
and you begin to look for that, and it's a surprising amount of stuff. But all the Braille stuff that I had seen and run my fingers across just to see what it felt like over the years. Now it began to make a little bit of sense to me. And you're absolutely right. That is something that a blind person would be excellent at. So much better than a sighted person who just sees dots, right?
Yep.
Random patterns of dots that they can't relate to at all unless they have studied Braille a little bit. They wouldn't. They can't check their work basically. If they don't get it right the first time, it goes up wrong, and that's just what happens. And you see it time and time again. Now I'm like compulsive about it. I check every elevator. The
So
elevators
yeah.
aren't usually too bad, but signage generally
Yeah,
is
it's
awful.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
really,
Bathrooms are really
yes, bathrooms are hilarious. Sometimes they're just completely meaningless. They're just completely get it wrong. So
so, but the crappy part is I'm not going to be covered for a monitor for the new computer.
so we're
So
soliciting
so
donations,
please
boys and girls.
consider going to blindpress.net and leaving a tip. Or if you'd like to get yourself some merch, you can find all the merch links in my link tree.
Now, this is for an Apple monitor,
No,
right?
no.
Or
You can
just
use any monitor.
any old monitor.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just want to, you just need to get a monitor so that, if there's anything visual, Pincalo can obviously, will be able to help me at that point. And then we're also, along with the monitor, I have to get a new webcam. You may have noticed I'm using the FaceTime camera from my laptop right now because the webcam died. So,
It's a
yeah.
good picture, though.
Yes, buy a mug. Yes, Pincalo says buy a mug. If you'd like to get a My Eyes mug, you can find those links in the link tree, which is on my Twitter in the pinned tweet. So yeah, you can either go to blindpress.net and leave a donation, or you can go to the link tree, find mugs, find the CoffeeStream shirts, all that stuff. Those lots of ways to support the content. And you have also come to the end of the show, my friends, and thank you for watching, and thank you to Skep for joining me. It's always a fun
Thank
time.
you for having me on. This is always a pleasure. And, take some hope out of the stream, guys. It's not as hopeless. We kind of bitch for an hour about how tough things are. And not everything is horrible. It's a great time to be alive. Let's make the world a little bit better out there.
Agreed. And remember to catch me tonight on Twitch for Beat the Blind Girl, doing some more Mortal Kombat practice, because next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'm in a King of the Hill playing for a chance to win over $100. So yeah, that's something that's happening. And also Star Trek stream on Saturday. Please join us.
That's going to be big fun.
Yeah, it is. We're going to be covering a topic that Ghost Dog actually brought to me, the pros and cons of the Prime Directive. So that'll be great fun. So be sure to catch that.
And that is at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern on the Blind Press channel on Saturday. And I guess that'll do us for us today, huh?
Yes. Thank you, us. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I was just checking chat, making sure there was no last minute things. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you later. I'll see you back here on Friday for Friday's coffee stream. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Costin.